Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are talking about Over Your Dead Body. This is the Jason Segel and Samara Weaving film that doesn't come out for another like 2 weeks. I saw this at an advanced screening at AMC that had some extra blooper reels and stuff, and so I got a little bit of an early experience with this one. I don't think it comes out until either next week or the week after, I'm not sure which one, but it is a very early screening that I got to attend, and I was very, very excited about it, and this movie's solid. So before I jump into it, if you're new around here, I'm trying to watch as many 2026 movies as I can with the inevitable goal of ranking all of them. Just a few weeks ago, I uploaded a recap of all of the movies I watched in quarter one of 2026. Thank you all so much for all the support on that. It really made it made my day. I really enjoyed that video, and I was really glad that it got so many views. Took a lot of time to make, even though it's not the most like technologically edited, super advanced. I don't have the greatest editing style, I wouldn't say, but I enjoyed making it, and it took a lot of effort, and I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. So yeah. Let's just jump right into the review. This is Over Your Dead Body. So the film follows Jason Segel and Samara Weaving. I feel like I'm saying his last name wrong. I apologize, but I'm going to continue to do it because I don't know how to pronounce it. And the two of them are a married couple that are kind of at the end of their marriage. They're not doing very good. So they go on a camping trip, and it turns out both of them had been planning to kill each other while on the trip. And some shenanigans occurs while they're having their marital dispute. And during that shenanigans, they have a character arc that I won't spoil the ending of. But point being is that these characters are very well written. So let's jump into the positives, because I actually have I have more positives to say, but the negatives are not as important, I don't think. So let's jump into the positives first. Starting off with, like I said, these characters are very well done. I like the two protagonists. I think both of them have very interesting character arcs, are very interestingly written, and just in general are very enjoyable to watch on the screen. Jason Segel's character is both a bit he's a bit corny, he's a bit like goofy, he's a bit nerdy, but he also has a kind of serious edge to him where he is able to do things because he learns that that's what he needs to do, I guess. He has a nice hero's journey throughout this film, or I guess just a character arc, not really a hero's journey, just a character's arc that is very well done and very well executed and has a great ending. There is one sequence in particular with him that I really liked, and I kind of wish they leaned more into that edge of his character, where once you're getting him kind of, well, I won't, I feel like I'm spoiling things if I talk a little too much, so I won't spoil it, but point being is that there is one specific sequence I wish they would have pushed into that edge. And with Samara Weaving's character, I feel like Samara Weaving's character in this film suffers from the same problem that Ready or Not and Ready or Not 2 suffers from, where things just kind of happen for her. Like, I feel like this movie, she does fight back a little bit more than in those two films, shockingly. But, like, in those movies and this, it kind of feels like she just, like, has luck on her side, and luck always kills the bad guys or injures the bad guys in some particular way, which allows her to escape rather than her actually doing it herself, which wouldn't be a bad thing. I mean, in the case of Ready or Not 1, it makes sense, but in Ready or Not 2, it was really bothersome, and here in this film, it doesn't bother me because it makes sense for the character that she's playing, but it is just something I've noticed. It's kind of strange. But Samara Weaving is fantastic in this film, as per usual. I think she's a very underrated actress that deserves much better roles than Ready or Not 2 and this movie. Not that this movie's bad, but she deserves a lot better than this movie. In the movie, she plays an actress that is kind of struggling to do her acting job because she's doesn't have her husband's support, obviously, and vice versa. The husband is a director who is only directing pop-up ads because he has failed as a director because he doesn't have a supporting wife. So there's a nice little caveat to the two of them kind of existing or coexisting, and that's really nice, and it plays very well off of each other. And just in general, they have really good chemistry this entire movie. It's shocking. They even make it a plot point that they have a big age gap in between them, and that works really well, shockingly. You would think there wouldn't be as much chemistry when they do have such a big age gap between the two of them, but there is a ton of chemistry. It really works, and it's kind of shocking that it works. My other positive is going to be the side characters or the villains of the film. When they come in and how they come in is very interesting, and particularly Juliette Lewis, an actress who, for the most part, I never really, I've never really seen anything that she's been in. I know she's been in a few things, and I've probably seen some of her stuff, but I've never, even in the stuff that I have seen her in, I've never thought she was like a fantastic actress. She's just, she's okay. And here, she delivers some really fun like a really fun performance that's kind of crazy, like genuinely insane crazy, but also like able to be coherent and not over the top goofy. And yet at the same time, the whole movie kind of feels like a rated R Looney Tunes episode. It's just a lot of layers to it, and I think it works really well for what they were going for. And her performance does add on a lot to the script in general. My other thing I want to say is that the comedy in this film is very good. There's only one particular sequence, which I'll talk about more in the negatives, that really bugged me, that I did not think was nearly as good as any of the other comedy bits that they do. But there are so many bits in this movie that are really funny, particularly the dinner table sequence after they both encounter each other. It was kind of spoiled a little bit by the trailer, but they add a lot more substance to it in context, so it is a little bit more fun there. And then of the ending, the finale has a really, really good bit that carries on for a pretty long time, and that's really enjoyable. And there's a few other side characters that come in that are really fun as well. Last thing I want to say, and this is just a positive from my particular screening, and I think this is the only positive I'm mustering in my brain right now, is that I got to see a blooper reel at the end of the AMC screening that I went to, the early screening, and I really enjoyed it. The blooper reel was cool. It wasn't super long, which I was a little disappointed by, because you would think when you get to see bonus features, they would give you a bit of an extra treat, but it was cool getting to see a few bloopers, even if it wasn't a lot of content. Okay, so time to talk about the stuff that I'm mixed on. And for the most part, the only thing I'm mixed on here is the pacing. I feel like this movie has a problem where you get a lot of really good content for like 20 minutes, and then for the next like 5-6 minutes, you're just kind of sitting in this idle position where nothing's really happening. And then right after that, you'll get 20 minutes of good content, idle for 5 minutes, good content, idle, good content. And it doesn't have a lot of necessarily great flow to it, and it's really disappointing because it's mainly not that it's not things happening. Like, things are happening on the screen. It's just they kind of try and do something like funny in every sequence, and at every like 20-minute interval there's a joke that's not really that funny, and they kind of play it out for too long, and then it just kind of crawls at a snail's pace. Like, for example, there's one bit where Samara Weaving is like stabbing somebody with multiple knives, and it goes on for a really long time, and she does it over and over again, and it doesn't really like end. It kind of lasts way too long, and it's not really that funny. And there's just some instances where that happens multiple times in this movie, and it really drains the pacing. It makes it go at a snail's pace all of a sudden, and it's a little disappointing, especially for a movie that, for the most part, the humor is really good, but there's just a few instances where it like kind of drags all of a sudden. You're like, oh, that's kind of disappointing. But it's solid, and that's really the only mixed thing I have to say about it. So let's just jump right into the negatives. And there's only one glaring negative that I have to say, and it's kind of a spoiler, so it's really hard to like articulate it without spoiling things. So I'm gonna try and kind of dance around it a little bit. There is just one sequence where the villains that come into the plot are, I will say, torturing the main couple of the film, and the thing that they decide to do to one of the guys is played off as a joke, and it's not really funny. It's kind of just gross, and it's kind of uncomfortable, and it's kind of weird, but they also play it off like it's hilarious. It's just one of the instances of like they play out the bit for too long and it's not funny anymore. But in this case, it wasn't funny in the first place, and it really ruined a lot of like the charm of the movie in a way. It kind of made it come across as gross. So I don't know. At least they picked that character to do it to instead of the other one, because I feel like if they picked the other character, it would have been even worse. But like, still a little weird. Well, it still is weird. Not a little. It is weird. But I don't know. It just bugged me, that one particular sequence. When you see the movie, you'll probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, that's kind of the only big glaring like negative I have with this movie. And other than that, just the pacing being a mix kind of moved it down a few chunks for me. And yeah, that's Over Your Dead Body. This is not a like fantastic movie. This isn't the greatest movie I've ever seen, but it is a solid movie. It's better than Ready or Not 2, I think. Samara Weaving has not been on like the greatest streak after Ready or Not, but it is better than Ready or Not 2. It's not quite as good as a Ready or Not 1, Jason Segel is great here. I wish they would have played more into his like craziness, because there's a few sequences where he does some crazy stuff and it's cool. And yeah, that's all I have to say about Over Your Dead Body. It was pretty solid. I enjoyed it. If you get a chance to go check it out, you should. I gave it a 3.5 star or a 7 out of 10. So that's my rating of Over Your Dead Body. I enjoyed getting to see bonus features. The director seemed like he was a pretty cool guy in the little clip that they played of him. So, yep, that's going to do it from me. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for all the support on the last few videos. It means the world to me. I really enjoy getting to do this, and I really love just seeing that people enjoy it too. So yeah, I will see you all on the next one. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. It really helps me out, and it makes me feel like, I should keep doing this because I love doing it. And yep, I'll see you all on the next one. Peace out.